Ranking the best abilities in Madden 24. We are back here with an updated ability tier list. Today, we're going to be going over all the defensive abilities and also X factors today in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Before we go over to the first abilities though, let's talk about the tiers we have today. So the top tier is going to be must run. Now, I'll be honest, I think there's actually a lot more broken things on offense than I do defense. I think a lot of this stuff, man, it really isn't broken. I feel like a lot of it does make sense. And we have the great tier, the good tier, the mid tier, and the trash tier. So let's get it started right here. We have film study. So film study is one of the best abilities in the game, getting it for 0. You might as well run it. It's 0 AP. Now, I will say it's kind of trash as well because there is a desync glitch with film study. Any ability that allows you to see a user, a play art, literally anything at this point in the year, and it's 0 AP, you gotta run it. Now, let's talk about everything else. So on the ball, really no point to run. And instead of calling these trash, I'm gonna say no point to run, because like on the ball isn't a bad ability. There just really isn't a good point to run it, right? It's the counter for run off elite, which if you don't know what run off elite does, a lot of times when receivers like stock block on certain run plays, it makes the DBs not turn around to play the run. Is this going to help you versus RPOs? Not really. So in my opinion, again, there's really just no point. After that, we get outside shade and inside shade, and let's just go over one step ahead right by it as well. So one step ahead is a combo of inside shade and outside shade. One step ahead, in my opinion, is a great ability. Okay, I'm not putting it in must run. I think man coverage is not good because of one step ahead. I don't. One step ahead counters route tech, which again is great. Do you need to run one step ahead? If you're running man, it's probably, in my opinion, the third most important ability that you could run. Yeah, and I'm gonna put inside shade and outside shade both in the good tier. They do something. They help a little bit first, like the route techs of the world. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the good tier. After that, we get lurk artist. Lurk artist, if you want to use linebacker, better run it. And also lurk artist, if you don't know, is a combo of lurker and pick artist, and there's no point to run it. There's no point to run lurker when lurk artist exists. However, pick artist is also an ability you probably want to run at this point. Catching interceptions. I will say one of the most annoying things in the game is the fact that I feel like pick artist is very 50-50. I would even go ahead and say I am very close to putting pick artist in the great tier. Like, I don't know if that's a crazy take or not. Do you need pick artist? At this point, I'd say yes, but for the majority of the year, I was always KOs over pick artist because it's so 50-50 whether you'll catch interceptions. You can have pick artist and it'll bounce right off your helmet, man. I do think it helps them animate a little bit more too, but yeah, I think pick artist in the must run tier at this point. I am going to say mid instead of no point to run. Acrobat, we're starting to get a lot of them for 0. My thing is, I've always felt like acrobat is something that is going to miss more often than it makes plays. That is why it is a mid for me. And after that, we get bench press. So you know what? Let's go over the rest of the man abilities right by each other, because I think this is very, very interesting. And we'll cover basically all the KOs as well. I think we got to talk about universal coverage with this as well. We got to talk about, of course, the bottleneck. Man coverage is starting to become more and more popular, specifically though, because of this, the bottleneck. Now, one of the things I think a lot of people don't tell you though is a lot of people combo bottleneck and bench press, and that helps the press too. Bottleneck, in my opinion, if you're going to run man coverage, this is why I put one step ahead in the great tier. Man coverage is good if your bottlenecks win. If your bottlenecks don't win, man coverage is not good, which I personally, I don't think bottlenecks are good, because if you have a receiver with built-on double me, rack 'em up, or max security, they can insta beat bottleneck. I'm putting bottleneck right here in the great tier, but I know it's a meta right now and so many people are so stubborn with their receivers. I understand why it's a must run ability right now, but I don't think it's good. I personally do not think it's good. I think the bottleneck defense is pretty trash. Bench press, in my opinion, is a good ability as well. It's not really one of the main things that makes a man coverage good, but it's kind of like an inside shade and outside shade where it's like, it does help. I think deep route and medium route are the most important when you have bottleneck. So in my opinion, deep route and medium route are going in the great tier. I'm going to go ahead and lean just putting all the man KOs in great. Again, the main thing for me though is the bottleneck, man. Like that is what makes man coverage good. If your bottleneck doesn't win, man coverage sucks, and I will stand on that. After that, you might be like, why are you covering universal coverage next? Well, universal coverage is not only every single zone knockout, it is also every single man knockout plus one step ahead. So universal coverage is Zeus. It's one of the best abilities in the game for sure. It's literally everything. Allows you to be super flexible with your coverage. Must run universal coverage. Now, since we talked about it as well, let's talk about the zone knockout. So we have deep in zone knockout, deep out zone knockout. Those combo together is deep zone knockout. We also have flat zone knockout, mid zone knockout. So my take with these zone knockouts is mid zone knockout is the best, in my opinion. I think it is. I think mid zone knockout just plays so many different things. I would say deep zone knockout is must run, and I'd also say deep out is very much must run too. If you can't get deep zone, you're kind of forced to play him on the as an outside corner role, which is why you would run deep out, right? But if you can get deep zone over deep out, run deep zone. It can cover a little bit more. Now we talk about deep in and flat zone. Deep in my opinion, deep in, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the mid tier. I understand why you would run it, but there's just so many safeties in the game to get deep zone knockout. There's really no point. Flat zone knockout, I'm going to put in the great tier though too. I don't think you need flat zone knockout, but I do think it does help quite a bit, especially with some of the RPO defense. Your flats can react a little bit better, but again, things like universal coverage, and I would always prioritize mid zone over flat zone, even on outside corners. I get so many, like, dude, I would get so many comments on cornerback tier list, safety tier list, and I'm glad we can finally talk about this. Do not think of mid zone knockout as, oh, he has to be in a hook curl, a vert hook, a mid read. That is not true at all. Mid zone activates on outside thirds, inside thirds, cloud flats, hard flats, seam flats, 30-yard cloud flats, 5-yard curl flats. Like, think of it as areas in the field, and it's not necessarily where they are going to play, it's where the ball is thrown. Say for instance, you have a 5-yard purple zone and you have mid zone on them, right? If they throw the drag crossing over the middle of the field, mid zone's going to light up and it's going to knock out the ball. I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of people already know that, but I would just get so many comments about mid zone. Why would you run mid zone over flat zone on an outside corner? Because mid zone plays way more. It does. And it also plays a lot of the annoying routes too. Like, there's times where your outside third can play vertical seams. Like, it is insane. The game is completely different compared to mid zone on and off. And a lot of people that complain about KOs, if we got rid of mid zone, you wouldn't have a problem. I guarantee you. All right. And after that, we have chuck out. I feel like this ability actually does nothing. I think there's, again, no point. Outmatch, same exact thing. And also I have the same thoughts on tip drill. So tip drill is usually something that's decent at the beginning of the year because we don't have pick artists everywhere, but we got pick artists everywhere. No point to run tip drill. Now we get into some of the D-line abilities. So we have adrenaline rush right here, and you can get it for 0 AP. It's just, in my opinion, it's tough because you have to get the sack with the player to restore pass rush points. And I have very similar thoughts to say like BOGO or extra credit or instant rebate, you know, and even things like Ripper, Spinner, Swim Club, Speedster. The thing about these abilities is it's all about pass rush points and blocker resistance. I don't think you're going to see the results on a play-to-play basis. It's going to be bare minimum difference. So that's why I'm going to say it's mid. Defensive rally, I'm going to put this in the good tier because it does help your entire defensive line. And again, a lot of people are trying to get that for 0 AP. It's a nice little boost. I think it's a little bit more impactful than say like a BOGO because it can boost your entire defensive line. We have double or nothing, edge threat elite, and let's go over under pressure as well right here. Double or nothing and edge threat to me are both good. Like, I understand why you would run them. It's just Secure Pro kind of hard counters them. But Edge Threat Elite and Under Pressure, these are, in my opinion, must-run abilities on everyone. So now there are still people that for some reason don't rock Fearless on the quarterback. I don't know why. These abilities can get so many red inaccurates. Like, they are pretty insane. Now, I'm also going to make a tier above as well. I don't want to call this like the broken tier. Let's just call this like meta tier, okay? We're going to put Universal, Film Study, and Bottleneck here. Cheesy, I guess. Like, I don't know if I want to call it cheesy or meta, but I think they should be a step above what we have ranked right here, because these are things like, okay, you should prioritize running those, but these are things that kind of take schemes over the top, in my opinion, like Universal, Film Study, Bottleneck. I hope that makes sense. I don't really know the name of this tier because I don't think these abilities are broken either. And after that, we get El Toro. I think El Toro's solid. I'm going to, I don't want to put it good though. I don't want to put it by edge threat and double or nothing. I think it's okay. I'll put it mid. I'll put it like top into mid. I would rather run edge threat or double or nothing, but El Toro, it's solid. It's not a user ability either. A ton of people think it's a user ability. Now, Mr. Big Stop, I'm also putting this mid. I think this is worse defensive rally because it only boosts one person instead of your entire defensive line pass rush points. Now, these abilities are not in Ultimate Team, but they're in CFM, and I kind of just kept them here. So this is Run Committed right here. Run Committed is just a stupid concept. Like, think about it. You need an ability for your Run Commit to actually work. That is a stupid concept. But Pass Committed is like the best ability in CFM. I've heard it's literally banned in CFMs. So we'll just put it right here in meta, even though our ultimate team people that are watching this video, you'll never be able to run it. I know this ability that I've been told is broken, and every comp CFM I've seen played bans this ability. Now we got unpredictable right here. Unpredictable is kind of like what the name says. I've seen this activate in the run. I've seen it activate in the past. Like, it's unpredictable, man. I'm putting it in the good, kind of like double or nothing almost. It's like sometimes you get double, sometimes you get nothing. Unpredictable, it's unpredictable, man. All right, now we get some pretty interesting abilities right here, like Demoralizer, Crusher, and Enforcer. And let's do Enforcer Supreme as well. So, man, we also need to cover one other one too then. It has to be Avalanche with this. And Deflator too. Like, these abilities right here are all interesting because it's all about Avalanche, man. And Avalanche, in my opinion, I think a lot of people have kind of like stayed or strayed away from this to go to like bottlenecks and other things. I still think Avalanche is a meta defense, because Avalanche with Enforcer Supreme, you hit stick, it beats tank. So that's it's Enforcer too, but it's Enforcer Supreme that adds Enforcer plus some of these other abilities. I'm gonna say Enforcer in particular is a good ability. I'm gonna say these three right here are kind of mid, like Crusher, Deflator, Demoralizer, kind of mid. Enforcer Supreme, I'm going to put in great. Now, Enforcer Supreme is kind of like the one step ahead for man coverage. I know that might not make sense because it's like two different things, but Enforcer Supreme isn't the thing that makes it like overpowered by itself. It's the Avalanche. It's Avalanche plus Enforcer Supreme that makes it really, really good. So these are like a combo together. Like, if you're running Avalanche, run Enforcer Supreme, please. Like, it'll make it so much better, and it will counter things like tank. So that's why I'm gonna put them like right by, like, top into this great tier, man. All right, now we get a bunch of the run stuffing abilities right here. So we get goal line stuff, inside stuff, no outsiders. Let's talk about run stopper, run stuffer right here. And I think that's all the what's it called? All the run stopping abilities. So goal line stuff doesn't really matter. Inside stuff, you might think this is a terrible take. I'm going to say it's more great than anything. I don't think you need inside stuff. Let me explain why. Secure Protector counters inside stuff, and I have the same thoughts on no outsiders, right? I understand why you want them, but it really doesn't do anything. In my opinion, it's run stuffer gives you the best chance, like JJ Watt, Joe Klecko. I'm getting this. I have seen run stuffer kind of, I don't want to say have its way with Secure Pro, but I've seen it win a ton. So I think run stuffer is just better inside stuff, no outsiders. So if you really want to prioritize stopping the run, I would get a run stuffer. And after that, we have run stopper right here, not to be confused with run stuffer, the X factor. But this right here, what this does is, this is more of a pass rush ability, actually. So it makes your shed attempts free on run plays. So your shed attempts are only, or your shed points are only used on pass plays. So I think this is an okay ability. I think it's good. I'm putting in the good tier. Now we get some of the run stopping abilities that aren't like inside stuff. We got Out of My Way, Secure Tackler. Let's talk about Stonewall, Tackle Supreme, Unfakeable. And let's bring in Reinforcement right here, the X Factor. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll talk about Lumberjack too. Me personally, I don't use the cut stick at all. I know someone in the comments talks about this ability a ton. For me, it doesn't do much because I suck with the cut stick. Okay, I'll admit it. Okay. So Out of My Way and Reinforcement need to be talked about kind of in the same thing. I think Out of My Way is a great ability right now first the meta. Now, do I think it's like a must run? No, because it still can get pancaked by Vanguard. And it does give you a chance, though. I will say that. I think it gives you a chance, which is kind of why I maybe want to put it must run, but I'm putting Reinforcement in the meta tier. So what Reinforcement does, right? Reinforcement is kind of like Out of My Way on steroids, I think. And it also gives you every knockout, but it doesn't give you reaction time. So say you're running man coverage, right? You would want one step ahead with Reinforcement. That would basically be one step ahead, deep route, medium route, short route KO for Reinforcement. Or you want Reinforcement with mid-zone knockout. So mid-zone knockout gives reaction time everywhere, and you basically got universal coverage and zone coverage right there. So I hope that makes sense. And I would say Reinforcement, I might even say it's number one. I don't want to say most needed, but I think it's the best X factor to run, the best style of defense to run, just so you can counter the offensive meta. And again, can it still get pancaked by Vanguard? Yes. Does it give you a chance? Yes. So that's why I like it the most. All right, now we get Secure Tackler, Tackle Supreme, and Unfakeable. So if you don't know, Secure Tackler plus Unfakeable equals Tackle Supreme. So Tackle Supreme, in my opinion, is meta. You probably want to run that. Must run, secure tackler at the bare minimum. Unfakeable is pretty mid. Like it's kind of crazy how much what's called a difference it is. Unfakeable still gets juked out. It's one of the biggest lies ever told in the ability description. Even if you user it, one of the biggest lies ever told, man. Like I thought if we got a defense full of tackle supremes, it would really stop jukebox. It doesn't, but it's still like you need to run it. It is meta, like you need it. Like it's better than secure tackler too, so that's why it's high for me. Now Stonewall right here, I think Stonewall is a good ability. Pretty much this is going to make them not win tackle battles, and it's not going to give you a tackle battle. So I like having Stonewall on my players, and a lot of people are getting it for 0 AP, so I think it's fine. Reach Elite right here. I have used Reach Elite so much, it has never done anything for me. And I can say the same thing about Strip Specialist. I think Strip's already good. Don't think there's a point to run it. Now we get Interior Threat. I think Interior Threat maybe should be in the great tier, maybe, but I'm gonna put it by Double or Nothing and Edge Threat. I think very similar things. When there wasn't a ton of secure protectors, this was ability that would go a little crazy. But now that we have so many secure protectors, it kind of just loses what it was good at, you know? And now for the rest of the video, we got X Factor. So Unstoppable Force, I would say it belongs in this tier, and it's kind of like our version of, say, Pass Committed, right? Like Unstoppable Force on the defensive line, 0 AP, going kind of crazy. I do think this at times runs through Secure Pro. Very similar thoughts to the Dual Threat X Factor as well. Dual Threat is kind of like Reinforcement though, where you do get all the knockouts, you don't get reaction time though. So you would want to pair this if you want a coverage player with like mid zone or like one step ahead, or also you can just rush the passer with them with this. So I think Dual Threat's definitely up there too. We have Relentless. Relentless is really good. You don't need to run it. It's really good on Aaron Donald though. Oh, this makes Aaron Donald go kind of crazy. I think Relentless belongs in the great tier. It is a very good D-line X Factor, kind of underrated, kind of just like Blitz. Like Blitz is very underrated as well. This wipes blocker resistance, so you should get more consistent sheds. Fearmonger, this is the thing about Fearmonger, okay? Not too many people are getting this built on for 0. They get it charge up X Factor right now. All the other D-line abilities, and also everyone getting under pressure Edge Elite for 0. That's why I'm saying there's really not a great point to run it right now in the current state of the game, but usually I'd probably say it's like good to great. We also have Shutdown right here. Shutdown is another one that I'm like, there's no point to run, and it's kind of similar to Zone Hawk as well. These abilities are kind of just like upgraded pick artists. Would you rather run Shutdown, Zone Hawk, or Universal Coverage, right? I feel like the choice is pretty simple right there. You would want the universal coverage. Now, after that though, we have Momentum Shift, and I actually lied. We have Persistent as well. This is not an X Factor. This is something that actually helps out the defense a ton, and obviously, defense has charge up X Factors on for 6 plays, off for 3. This makes charge up X Factors on for 8 plays, off for 3. So it makes it a little bit longer. I'm going to put this in the great tier. You don't need to run it, but it is a great ability. Momentum Shift is #1 ability, I think, on defense right now. Kind of like defense's Vanguard. Momentum Shift is the #1 thing that really saved online head-to-head, in my opinion. This counters the Omaha. This counters charge up X Factors on offense. This is the thing that you need to run, in my opinion. Now, after that, we have Selfless. Selfless, no point to run. No one gets it for a charge up. No one gets it baked on or anything. So yeah, no point to run, in my opinion. But yeah, boys, this has been my thoughts on the defensive abilities in Madden 24 Ultimate Team. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with, what should go up, what should come down. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video though, you enjoy content like this, want to stay updated with everything that's the best in either Madden or NCAA, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, if you guys do want to go ahead and see me use some of these abilities live on stream, I stream here on YouTube and Twitch almost every single day, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. To watch on the YouTube side of things, make sure to hit that noti bell as well. You'll be notified every time I upload or go live here. Or if you want to watch on the Twitch, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with a follow, or also in the description, hit that NCAA channel with the follow as well. But if you guys do want another video to watch, check out this one right here.